For today's DIY project, I will be showing you how to make toasted marshmallow syrup. This can be used in a lot of different ways, but of course I'll be using it for coffee. And the most fun part about this entire DIY project is toasting the marshmallows. You can just put them on a baking sheet and pop them in the oven, but it's a lot more fun and you get a lot more control when you use a heat gun. It really does give you like complete control over the process, and you get to watch the marshmallow. It's so satisfying. Go from the white to like a toasty brown color, just like you're roasting a marshmallow on a fire. So gather your ingredients and your supplies and let's get started. You'll need 2 cups of mini marshmallows, a cup of sugar, half a cup of water, and half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. The ingredients for this recipe are honestly pretty simple, and now let's get into the different supplies you'll need. Feel free to pause the video and take note of the things that you'll need. As I mentioned before, I'll be using a Wagner heat gun for the most exciting part of this recipe, which is toasting the marshmallows. I recommend pouring them out onto a baking sheet and try to avoid any overlap. Then you can go ahead and turn on your heat gun, and I started on the lower setting, and as you can see it just kind of blows them around a little bit. So I turned it up and this is what happened. How satisfying is that to watch? At first they'll just puff up a little bit and then they start to get that nice golden brown color. Make sure to keep your heat gun moving around a decent amount and just linger for a moment or two to get that, crispiness. I did also end up putting a towel underneath the baking sheet just to protect the surface. Once you're done toasting the marshmallows, you can turn off your heat gun and prop it up on its back like this. Make sure to let it cool, and now you can combine ingredients in a saucepan. I started by adding the half a cup of water and then a cup of sugar and the half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. The marshmallows, of course, are sticky, so they'll stick to the pan a little, but they come off in decent sized sheets just like this, and you can just get them all inside that saucepan. And let's be honest, eventually you're just going to use your hands, but it does get a little gooey. Once all of your ingredients are in the saucepan, you can place it over medium heat and make sure to stir constantly. Eventually the marshmallows will melt and just look a little bit lumpier, and then they'll get nice and smooth. Just as a cautionary tale, I did drop my camera face down into this pot of boiling marshmallows. I will link to that so you can watch it. But back to the recipe, it gets nice and smooth like this, but it still has kind of that frothy layer almost, so you'll want to strain it. That also helps remove any of those crispy parts that, didn't end up melting. And I did that a couple of times, and then you're ready to store it in an airtight container. Now, I actually used what I had, which was an old peanut butter jar, which was glass, but I wanted to transfer it into something cuter, so I got this little mason jar, and you can really see how thick this syrup is. It's amazing. So not only is this great to, add to a drink, you can also drizzle it on top. And if you don't think you'll use it all, you can always store it up just like this and give it to a friend. Now that you have this stunningly bronze toasted marshmallow syrup, you can start thinking of the different ways that you'll use it. Like I said, I'm a big coffee lover, so I'll definitely be using it in cold brew, so stay tuned for a recipe, and thank you so much for watching.